Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today, there she is in her Maple Leafs glory, LFC Miss Stephanie Ferreira. Stephanie, it's always a pleasure and a privilege. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Well, first and foremost, now that we have the LFC video-wise, I'm not shocked to see all that Maple Leaf merchandise and jerseys and everything. You're just living out your glory, which you and your Maple Leafs, Toronto girl, you.
The season hasn't started yet, but I'm always ready and I'm always repping. But you should see more photos will be released shortly with the gear. So,
hey man, I'm just saying you got to rep the brand like we all do with LFC and our hockey and our sports. That's the beautiful thing about competition and just athleticism, you know.
Yes.
Hey, first and foremost, you want to talk about those photos, man. There's nothing more beautiful. There's nothing more sex, voluptuosity factor. You know where I'm going with this, than a beautiful woman in some jersey gear. You know what I'm saying? Repping your team. I can see something right now. Hey, you could put on some Maple Leafs jerseys. You could put on whatever, man. Gravitation towards the photos and the imagery side of things. So I look forward to seeing what you do.
I can't wait for you guys to see it. I'm actually trying to see if we can create a jersey for the Lingerie Fighting Championship. I think that would be my next bucket list. That's what I want to see. So I think, hint, hint, we should get that going.
Get some LFC jerseys for the fans. I remember as a kid in high school, the year was 2008, WWE had a WrestleMania 21 jersey, and you can make like your own jersey. I had Larkin 92, my last name of the year I was born. So if we get something like that for LFC, come on now. The jerseys for the girls, jersey for the fans. Beautiful.
I would gladly wear it.
Good. Now, would it be for Ferreira and your and the date of birth, or what would you put? What would you want on your jersey, man? Like an old creative jersey. What would you put on it?
I think I'd have to put Miss Hex on it, Miss Jolene on the back of it. So
the tribute to Jolene, who, by the way, as we all now have seen with LFC at Sturgis, the 3-night event, she is now the champ, as she calls herself. She is the LFC world champion and the LFC European champion. 2 belts in one. She's repping the 2 belts there.
Amazing. Congrats. Oh, I miss watching a little bit of Lingerie Fighting Championship. I haven't been on top of it. Please don't crucify me. I know a lot of fans might. But it's amazing to see how far these amazing, incredible athletes have come, especially Miss Hex. I'm so proud of her. So
I look at it from a stance with her. Like, she could be red hair, she could be blonde. She's still kicking ass and taking names with her Krav Maga. And I look at it from a stance, too. She's an OG. And for her, I think it's kind of like a finally moment to finally win the LFC championship. And she did, man. And I got to say, going forward, there's a lot of prospects coming in. We have the LFC Madness coming. I'm going to say right now, it was so popular from the first installment. We got a second installment. We got wrestlers in there. We got models. We got a lot of people that have been seen in there. So what do you think about that new concept, man? More of the prospects fighting out to get a contract and a little blingage around them. Get you that bracelet, give you that necklace. You know what I'm saying? Bling, bling with the ching, ching. Put that on a T-shirt. Go ahead, Steph.
I think that it's great because it gives them a little bit of a platform to stand on. That way they can actually showcase their skills and their assets, emphasis on the assets. And I'm proud to see it because there are so many women that are multifaceted out there and they really don't get a chance. And how often do you hear about women fighting? I really don't hear it through the grapevine around here. So to have these women, these athletes actually be able to perform on a platform where they actually get an opportunity for a contract, that's better than scouting and just hoping by chance someone will see you. When someone can see what you're great at.
That's the beauty of it. I also look at it from a stance too, like, who does not want to be a prospect with LFC, number one? And number two, when you have something that's so unique and so different from your typical MMA and your typical pro wrestling, and with a little bit of clothing as the tagline and catchphrase there of Lingerie Fighting Championships is, it's a win-win for everyone around. And also, here's the thing that I love. I'll give you a prime example. Rain the Stallion Rivers is one who's a prospect in the LFC Madness, right? This is a girl who is training at the Nightmare Factory in Georgia, QT Marshall, AEW, All Elite Wrestling. It's on TNT every week. Like, that's cool. You got someone who's doing some training for AEW, and then boom, here we go with Lingerie Fighting Championships. Selena, who was just at the last event, right? She has the booty camp chain. Selena was on MLW. Now she's doing LFC. It's the cross brands and cross promotion people. We got some of your favorites.
Yeah, and I think it's great because A lot of them are looking for a place to showcase, and a lot of them, they can expand, and it looks good on a resume, especially saying, hey, I'm part of the lingerie fighting championship, and people will draw attention to it. They'll look it up and show interest. I know, I can speak from my experience, I know a lot of models who are hoping for a chance to be a prospect, for them to be showcased. So it's like you said, it's a win-win. It's great.
Hey, I've seen some of the models you worked with. We'll get to them in a few seconds here. But god dang, man, I got I gotta say this about you. This is what I love you. Man, you're just coming out there. Your imagery is beautiful. Your shoots are awesome. You're just coming to your own, showing that style, showing that flavor. Tell me what's your flavor. First pop culture reference. I'm talking Craig David style, man. You are showing let it hang out, Steph. You go. Lingerie style, you're really hitting it.
Well, I've been doing a lot of stunt training for a lot of the acting that I'm doing, because I want to be able to focus more on acting. And there are days that I've thrown out my shoulder a couple of times, and I'm learning how to be a trained professional fighter, but I have yet to try it in lingerie. So we're trying to see if I can incorporate that with shoots, with a little bit of the creativity. So we'll see how that goes.
Hey, as someone who's known you for a little while now, the creative juices are always flowing with you, ma'am. So I think you got it. So we all look forward to when that comes into fruition. But yo, Steph, I got to say this about you, and a little pop culture sidebar here, but god dang, man, I blame you, because 98 Degrees, Where Do You Want to Go has got stuck in my head ever since you tagged me in that Instagram Live. How great is that song? That's a badass song right there.
It's so great. And the fact that I actually posted it on my story, and I actually tagged 98 Degrees and you, and
Yep.
they actually reposted it on the story.
I'm like, god dang, man, 98 Degrees. Well, here's the thing, too. They love their fans. Anybody has seen Jeff Timmons on social media, he's one of the most interactive people with his fans. See, that's the great thing about it, too, is I think the youngest in the group is I think Drew Lachey is the youngest out of all of them. They're almost 50, but they're still kicking ass and taking names and looking good driving in the car. Or do you want to go? If nobody's ever seen the music video, go search it on YouTube, 98 Degrees, Where Do You Want to Go? But can you believe that? Like, they're almost 50, and they're still killing it on all cylinders.
Well, I mean, I look at performers that are well into their late 40s, early 50s, and they're killing it. Like, you've got Jennifer Lopez, who's 50, and she's killing it. I can specifically say now that my music has changed a little bit with the pop culture. I've actually been listening to Ice Nine Kills. So I remember a while back we were talking about lingerie fighting championship and the type of song we would want to walk into. Mine would be now Hip to Be Scared. Ice Nine Kills.
That's a good song, too, for those who also have not checked it out. I can see that. That's cool. I mean, look at Lauren the Animal Fogel. She has that rebel yell when she comes out. She's always intense. She has Lights Go Out by Fozzy, Chris Jericho. There's the wrestling tie-in. So there's a lot of people. I got to say, there was one, for those who have not seen it, Crystal White, who was one of the fighters in LFC. She made her return after her bout at LFC 31 for Sturgis. God dang, man. She had this hip-hop song, and it was banging. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just ready to go out, put on some bandanas and shit, and just kill it. And what I mean by that is, man, I had some bandanas from back in the day. Cash Money Millionaires, Big Timers, I'm Still Fly, da-na-na-na, taking it back to the early 2000s. I was that kid. I love that stuff, man. I got one with a cross. All right, here's how it is. I have a bandana with skull and crossbones. You know why? Because it's hardcore. Who does not want to have a bandana with some skull and crossbones? This guy does. So, I mean, hey, I was a wild child. Still am to this day. But, hey, man, you got to rep your rap and hip-hop, right?
Yes, very much so.
Oh, my God. But, see, here's the thing. When you grow up in a household, and on Long Island, New York, where 52, 53, and 54 is VH1, MTV, BET, right? Coming home from school and watching Rap City with Big Tigger in Dub Basement. That's right, I said in Dub Basement. How can you not? And you know, a lot of great rappers have performed and spit some bars, a set of 16, if you will, in that basement. So, you know, it's the music. It's the music.
And it's a whole mood. It's a whole mood, because when you're taking names, you're crossing them out, you need to feel it. Mm-hmm. And music,
hey, you're hardcore.
Does that for you?
Absolutely, and you're hardcore too in your own right, man. You got that little gangstified thing about you, man. You're coming out all fabulous with some vibes, man. I see you in your whole moods with your TikToks, with your Instagrams. You have the gun, man. What's with you and guns now, man? You got guns. You got friggin' shit. I've seen those photos. My goodness.
The knives, I have to say that they were inspired by Ice Nine Kills, the group that I had mentioned earlier, where they focus on a lot of horror genre in film, and they actually use their music as a tribute to it. And for a couple of concepts, they decided to have me dress up as Patrick, the American Psycho, played by Christian Bale. And, they hooked me up with a huge fake knife and, kind of parading with it in photos. But the guns, I'm usually very anti-gun, but in terms of the shoot, if it fits the theme and the mood, what they're looking for, I happily oblige. I do whatever they ask me to. If they make me have an extra eye come out of my forehead, or if they want me to look like a trained lingerie fighter, then that's what they have to get. I have to perform for them. So they got to be happy with me.
I will say this right now. First and foremost, you want to talk about, you're not into guns. You kind of channel it. I'm going to say this back to the rap hip hop montage. You're kind of like the Notorious B.I.G. Somebody got to die. If I go, you got to go. Somebody got to die. Let the gunshots fall. My goodness, taking your Notorious B.I.G. No, Notorious on us there, Steph.
I mean, it's definitely something where I'm leaving my comfort zone, and I think it's something where a lot of fans are starting to do that as well. Because if we're constantly in our comfort zone, we'll never know what we're capable of. We'll never know what we can test with our limits or pushing our boundaries. It's almost like the fighting, because like I've told you before on many of our podcasts together, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. I love to de-escalate either than escalate. However, I feel now that if I need to throw it down, I have to. And when I'm performing in terms of a role, and I might get smoked. I've gotten punched in the face a few times, even with the fully choreographed. But I'm starting to enjoy the release that comes with throwing the punch. But I mean, it's all about self-defense. If they throw the first punch, then I'll gladly oblige. But it's become a taste for it. I'm starting to enjoy it. And whereas before I was like, no, I don't want to fight anybody except for one person, which we both know who that is. Shall remain nameless. But it's just, I understand why there's so many women who are turning to fighting. It is a release and it feels good. And, sometimes you got to look good doing it. Got to set it up and just be prepared with that music in the background.
So I gotta say this about the music in the background and stuff. Like I said, it all goes back to like 2002 when Jennifer Lopez did Enough. And what I love about this show, everybody has a different story of why they want to get into fighting and stuff. I've always come across someone that it comes from being in a domestic relationship or domestic partnership, and then it's like, boom. A lot of people can relate to that. So I think women's fighting has always upped the ante, especially over these last few years, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a time, like when I was growing up, because I'm not that much older than you, we had a lot of times where, it was shunned upon that women would even consider fighting because it was unladylike and it was something left for the guys. But it's 2021, it's a new age, and fighting, especially a championship, I'm starting to feel like the girls do it better than the guys do.
Hey,
the lingerie is a plus, but
yes.
I mean, seeing them throw it down, I would not want to get on the wrong side of any one of the ladies. Like, I would not want to upset any one of them.
Hey,
and they're amazing.
I look at it from a stance too, as someone who has seen Audrey the Mongoose Monique there making her return to LFC at Sturgis. Man, she was tackling everybody, choking everybody. She was on the blue team as the coach, but man, she was trying to pull off everybody, but she did it with such force. I got to say, watching that and seeing your photos with the fake knife and just that horror type feel, y'all are both buck wild. I'm just going to put it out there, man, because it doesn't just, you're going buck wild, man. She's going buck wild. There's a lot of buck wildness up in here. There's a little term for you. I sense buck wildness up in here. But yeah, no, that's the amazing part of what you get to do and what Audrey gets to do as part of the LFC. You're both vibrant, beautiful ladies, but I got to say, I think you could get out of your comfort zone and start smacking people, man. Miss Lover, not a fighter. You're putting on your own Gandhi type of stuff, your Gandhi vibes, but sometimes you got to get a poke at somebody there. Steph, huh?
I mean, I've been jabbed so many times, and it's almost like we look at it from the social media standpoint, where I'm sure a lot of the girls in LFC have been, the victims of people, the keyboard warriors, let's say. And a lot of people are afraid to face what's different. Women in fighting isn't very new because I mean wrestling. We've had UFC fighting with Ronda Rousey fighting and taking names and really kicking ass, and sometimes she had to face defeat. And now I no longer look at makeup as making me look pretty. Sometimes it covers up my bruises, it covers up my cuts that I've achieved, whether fighting with my steak knife or my butter knife. But it's LFC fighting has really changed the way I look at women competing, fighting, and it's actually taken me out of what was drilled in my head as a child that fighting is for men. It's barbaric. Now I look at it and say, no, it's actually a release. It's actually a form of self-defense. And now to see it competitive, we're going to see it with the Olympics. They're going to start showcasing it more. These prospects are going to have more of a platform, not only with Lingerie FC, but they're going to start going all around, especially with the Olympics. And hopefully it'll start becoming like what you see on my wall where, there's jerseys around that you can pick up. You can wear it. Oh, my favorite fighter is going to be on pay-per-view tonight and I'm going to support her. That's what I want to see. And if it wasn't for LFC, I feel like we'd still be stuck in that cage, that whole mismatch, if you will.
That's always been the thing too, and that's always why I loved LFC and got into doing what I'm now with them. It's one of those things like, man, and I'm going to say this because I was laughing when you said it. I've said this to my last guest with Taylor Holly Combs, who's a prospect. It's one of those things where it's like in wrestling and in sports, y'all women are kicking our butts, and we have to step our game up because we're actually letting the women go out there and work and show off their athleticism. It's not just, again, the sex appeal is wonderful, but just going out there and just kicking ass and taking names, it's like, all right, it makes us work harder.
Oh yeah, and I find that like now we're starting to see a lot more trainers. We're starting to see them more in the manager sense, and we're starting to see the coaches come out. And I love seeing that, and I want more of it. It's like you get a little taste, and you're like, okay, it's not so insatiable. It's not just where I can have a little taste and then I can't have it anymore. The more I see it, the more I feel it, the more I want it. And I see each and every single individual that you have on the wall that you showcase. They're driven. They want it. They want that championship and they bust their, can I say ass? But they bust their asses. And, I'm at that point where when people say, oh, I'm not really into it, half the time I feel like asking them, have you actually checked it out? Have you sat down and really thought about what these women have done to train and prepare? Have you thought about their mindset, the physical training, the strength, the being tired, even facing an injury and what it's like for them to constantly have to heal? And, people don't really think about it because they think, oh, it's not part of my everyday life. So it doesn't even occur to them. Meanwhile, I'll sit there and I'll really think, if she got injured, what's her downtime going to be like? What's it like to feel that pressure to perform? And just that feeling of wanting to be back in the ring, because I know for a lot of athletes, they can't wait to perform again. They can't wait to do what they love and smash it and kill it each and every single time. So for me, I really look at it from that aspect.
I got to say, first and foremost, you want to talk about, can you say ass? How many shows have we done, man? Of course you can say it.
Now people can see me, so it's weird.
So, so also to add on to that, it's one of those things as well too. Like, and I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said. A lot of people don't give it the time of day. They'll just dismiss it. Oh, it's lingerie fighting championships. But what a lot of people don't realize is, and I'm glad that you brought up the injury, everybody's jonesing to get back in there. Like, for example, she's one of the toughest women I know, Bella Inc. This woman gave birth, and then 3 weeks later, she's fighting out in Sturgis for LFC. It's amazing just to see that type of grit and determination. I mean, she shows it on her social media all the time, but that is one of the toughest women I know to provide an example. You can't go wrong with some Bella Inc.
Yeah, it's just a lot of people dismissed the idea of women in sports a long time ago. And then with wrestling, women start to come in, but then, they'd be shunned as if it's like, oh, it's for bodybuilders. We don't see bodybuilders every day. Are you kidding? Now you're starting to see more and more muscular bodies, people really taking care of themselves, and then they're competing. But them fighting, I mean, I grew up where martial arts was something, karate was a thing, and now we've got Krav Maga and all these incredible other martial arts and forms of fighting, boxing. And now you're starting to see even kids get into it because it helps train the mind. It actually helps discipline them. And now, like, I thank Lingerie Fighting Championship for it because they're bringing women to the forefront. It's no longer focusing on the men. Okay, you might see a couple of handsome men like yourself every once in a while, but the focus is the women. And half the time, like I've introduced my husband to it, half the time he's not even thinking about the lingerie. He's just thinking about the hits. Oh my gosh, did you see the way she kicked her? Did you see the way she connected? Did you see the way she followed through? So now it's really starting to reset in our minds. Okay, this is what they go through. How much energy are they putting behind that punch, behind that kick? And people don't realize your bodies are bodies. We've got body parts that flop around a little bit more than yours does. It's very difficult because we're not focused on what if my breast pops out as I'm about to strike. No, we're focused on our opponent and defeating them. That's all we're thinking about. And I love seeing it.
First and foremost, you're just going to put it out there that your body parts flop more than us. I like your style, man. Just putting it out blunt. Like, hey, it's okay. Now you have to ask me something. I see you, Steph. You're speaking of a handsome man, handsome woman right over here. Lovely woman. Oh my goodness gracious. And I mean that with the utmost sincerity and respect, my friend.
Thank you.
I gotta say this about you. When you introduced us to your husband, because we're gonna touch upon this here. Was this before or after he was listening to O-Town with you in the car?
It was after, because he was curious as to why we were giggling so much. And when I introduced it to him and I was kind of singing along and kind of, sending him the cues, he kind of went, "Oh, okay." And I told him a lot of our relationships, especially when we watch movies like Enough, and, growing up in the household that I did with a lot of men around, you tend to worry about things like that. Like my mom was always worried, make sure you marry somebody who's going to take care of you, not hurt you. And when I'd watch movies like that, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I hope that's never me, because we worry about stuff like that. That's our worst fear, is that the person that we choose to love is most likely the person who might harm us. So, after we'd have our discussions with Enough and listening to music, where back then it was about liquid dreams and hint with the sexual innuendos, it's a discussion that I have with my husband. We've been married for 15 years. So we kind of sit down and we have that heart to heart where, this is what my fears were. And it's still a fear because we hear so many scary stories. We hear about campaigns where, if you're having a Zoom conversation and someone does this action, it means that they're suffering from domestic abuse at home. It really brings the discussion to the front where, do you fight to survive? Do you fight to avoid flight, or just freezing? Because a lot of people in desperate situations freeze up. And with my husband, I've been blessed with a very supportive husband who's very supportive of my pictures, my content, and me doing the LFC podcast. He's very on board. He'll say, okay, it's 10 p.m. Are you going to go live? Yes, I'm going live with Michael Larkin. Looking forward to it. And, we'll joke around about the music, but just as we can joke around about the music, we have to have those serious conversations that may not be so easy to have. I've got 2 children with him, and we're trying to raise them so that they grow up to be fine, young, individual males, where they're focused more on love. And if they have to fight, it's only because it's a necessity and they have to. But something that we want them to learn is that you don't raise your hands to your spouse, to your wife, to your children as well. I mean, you can discipline and have a conversation, but you don't have to hit. But at the same time, I want them to understand the sports side of competition, where, you'll see females fighting. And it's one of those things where I want them to grow up well-rounded. I want them to exposed to certain situations, but, we want them to grow up where they understand more to take care of each other than fighting. But if they have to fight, they better have some backbone and get into that fight if they have to.
Hey, that's the way to raise them, and you're definitely raising your children right. Now, I'm going to say this right now. The family that watches LFC together stays together. My goodness, you got your husband hooked on it, which is awesome. Now, I can't wait to see when your boys get to watch that, man. Your boys are in high school. Was it junior high as well, right, Steph?
Well, my oldest is. My youngest, he's still a little small, so he's going to have to wait for just a little bit. But I mean, I'm going to be brutally honest. We go to the beach every summer. We see plenty of scantily clad women. I am notorious for wearing bathing suits that cover my derriere, but you know, there's other countries out there where you go to the beach and they're wearing thong bikinis, and it's the entire family. It's grandma, it's granddaughter, it's daughter, it's the entire family, aunts, cousins, you name it. So it's like that whole resetting, recharging your mind, and saying, okay, this is normal. It's part of your body, and the human body is very beautiful. Women's bodies, we can do anything. We can give birth and we can throw it down in a match a couple weeks later, or we can bend over backwards, you name it. But I really want them to say, like, look at these gorgeous women. I appreciate them. Treat them with respect. Also take in a little bit of respect for them as well. So I really want them to say, these are athletes. It's beyond looking at what they're wearing as they're fighting. It's just like my hockey guys. It's not so much the crest that they wear on the front of the sweater. It's whether they're performing, doing what's expected. And then if it's the person we're supporting the most, hopefully they win. And if not, we're there for them even when there's defeat.
Now, I'm going to say this to you right now. First and foremost, they're talking about covering up your derriere. Let me tell you something here, Wicked Game, Chris Isaac style. I've seen those photos of you on the beach, man. You're killing it. Like I said, it's very Wicked Games, Chris Isaac style. For those who have not heard that song, that is a beautiful song by the one and only Mr. Chris Isaac. So that's what reminded me. Gave me those Wicked Game type of vibes, man.
Well, I mean, when they first asked me to do shots on the beach, I was like, okay, so what are we drinking? Tequila or Jack? And in all honesty, I've never owned as many bathing suits as I have this year. And half the time it's companies have supplied me with it, or, it's a family friend who wants me to wear their gear to support them, especially through COVID. So with the bikini shots, it's actually been a lot of fun. It's weird when I have people actually stopping, looking, and asking for a photo afterwards, because I feel like I'm not a celebrity, but people will stop me. Hey, can we take a picture? Sure. I kind of like dressing more as a stormtrooper, though. I'll be honest.
Hey, man, I'll look at it from a stance, too. You could be like the Britney Spears of Canada there, with sometimes video where she's running on the beach. They're playing volleyball. Sometimes I run. Get that in the background, huh? Get there, Steph.
I'm just thinking about sometimes I run. I'm the Canadian Britney Spears who'd probably fall off the dock.
Oh,
Probably hit a couple of rocks all the way down. But we are actually in the works of pulling a little bit of Britney Spears with the big boa constrictor.
hey.
So we're actually in the works of trying to figure that out. Snakes were present on Monday during our shoot, but I couldn't. I could just picture Fail Army with the snake attacking somebody, and it scared me off a little bit.
But that's what I love about it, man. Your swag, your confidence, your vibrancy is showing within your photos. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm very happy to see someone like yourself, a great person like yourself, just going out there killing it. Man, you're dressing with the library type of deals, man. It kind of reminds me of the bookworm type of deal. Again, something that really gravitates a lot to the men. You know what I'm saying? You're showing that side of you, man, huh?
I've had a lot of photographers really get me out of my comfort zone, where they'll say, you're safe. This is a safe space. And a lot of them will say, okay, this is the schoolgirl outfit and the bookworm and Lois and Superman. And you kind of sit there and just kind of go, okay, if this is what you want me to do, I'll perform it to my best. And I have a lot of fun doing this. And half the time I'll think to myself, okay, what are people going to say when they see this picture? And honestly, as of lately, it's a lot of positive versus the negative, which I'll take, and a lot of publishings, which have been fantastic. But I also like interviewing. I like talking to people about what they do. I love talking about a lingerie fighting championship, and I really want to focus more on the girls I find that now we're looking at it where, you see one of the girls wearing a bra and panty, and it's no different than when you see a woman walking down on the beach in her bikini and her two-piece, whether it's a thong bikini. So I really want to start going towards that a little bit more. So that's what I'm hoping to do now.
Hey, I think you have the right mindset. And to quote Ice Cube, you get your mind right and your grind right, Miss Ferreira. And I got to say this first and foremost. I'll be honest with you. I'll give you the male point of view. When I was in high school, we all had those teachers that were just, I mean, Van Halen, Got It Bad, I'm Hot for Teacher. It's an 80s song. It's a classic. So when I was in my senior year of high school, I had a Miss Carpenito. She was my teacher for applied chemistry, right? She used to wear some dresses, and she had like a tattoo on her ankle of roses. And I used to love when she would talk and do the lesson. She'd walk down the rows, tell us what we were doing. I may have dropped my pen or my pencil a couple times. You know what I'm saying? Get a little peek ski. So, I mean, hey, if there's you that are teaching and women like the beautiful Miss Carpenito who I had during my senior year, it's a world full of beautiful teachers out there, Miss Ferreira.
Oh, I have to say, I think our teachers have really paved the way for our students. I really appreciate our teachers. I can speak from experience that if it wasn't for a lot of teachers, life would be very difficult. And, throughout our career, our teachers, we see them every day when we go to school. But now I still look at teachers and they inspire us. They have those difficult conversations when mom or dad can't have that conversation. I've had a lot of teachers pull through for me, especially within the past couple of months, where they've actually helped me with photo shoots. And I'm truly touched by them. And I see it a lot with even the fighters. They teach us something about ourselves. You can get in the boxing ring, you can take a punch, and as long as you get up and you constantly try again, then you're really not as defeated as you think you are. If you completely give up, then you're completely defeated. There's no try after you give up. But I feel like a lot of these ladies teach us something. So I gotta say I thank them for that too.
Hey, you actually just segue. What's also very cool about LFC is there's a lot of girls that do reffing, and there's a lot of the girls that have done coaching at these events. And I think what's cool about that too is whatever your team you're on. We got the blue team now, we got the pink team, we got the black team. What's cool about it is too, a lot of people don't realize like that's a very important necessity when it comes to LFC too, because it's like you got a lot of veterans here, and there's a lot of the stuff that a lot of the prospects can learn from. And I'm sure there's the friendliness, and there's a lot of people that they've worked with outside of the LFC auspices. But it's like the teaching and the fundamentals I go into it also fall hand in hand.
Oh yeah, I mean they got to improve some things. There's no such thing as the perfect fighter. There's no such thing. You can win as many titles, but I guarantee there's always something that you can improve on. And with these ladies, to wake up, get their meals ready, get prepared, start breaking it down what they want to do. And it's not just, I just want to win a title. I just want to win a belt. It has nothing to do with that. It's the journey to even get there. And the more you take in, the more information you listen to and you're open to, then there's always room to improve. There's no such thing as, oh God, that's the worst thing that you can possibly tell me. No, if anything, you take the information, you take it with a grain of salt. If it works for you, perfect. You can try it again. If you don't like it or you feel like it's not for you, well, give it a try, because if it ends up working, then it's great. The only thing that I can say is if it doesn't work, you can't really say anything to the coach, because at least they gave you the option of trying it. But, if it doesn't work for you, it may not be your style. It may not be what you like. You're not comfortable with it. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what works for you. Because when you're in there, when you're fighting, you got to figure it out.
Amen to that. And I will say this. Here's what's cool, because we were talking about multifaceted before. Ty Emery, and we all love Ty Emery. Ty Emery just signed a 4-fight deal with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, man. She's going to be doing the bare knuckle fight. She wants to do LFC. Hey, I'm Mike over in Invicta. Multifaceted is more than anything that really describes Ty Emery. Like, how cool is that? She wants to do LFC. She's signed with Bare Knuckle, man. Again, hand in hand, but you're exploring different avenues around the same art form.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of her. That I love her as well. Like I giggle every time I think of her or Jolene Hex. Like I just love them. Just because I love LFC, and it's like I appreciate each and every single one. It's just I do have my favorites right now. It could change at any point in time. And when they're experiencing and they're going through different revenues, just to even experience a new contract, it's something to celebrate. You don't frown upon it and say, well, that's not really what we condone. It's not what we're looking for. No, if anything, let them explore it, because you'll never know what it could do for you. You'll never know if it could actually bring you to the forefront, where she can say, I started with LFC, now I'm doing this, but look at what else we're going to do. Who knows if they can even merge together and end up working together? Who knows? So that's why I think it's like, whenever these announcements are made, really got to be excited for them, because they could be sitting at home not doing anything and just not accomplishing anything. I think it's a great accomplishment for Tay.
Oh, agreed. And I mean, you look at women like Cindy Dandois, who has been on The Ultimate Fighter. She's been in Invicta, now wants to do LFC. And here's the thing about her is, too, if you've seen her weigh-ins, and I'll say this right now, type in Cindy Dandois in your Google search, people. There is the one infamous shot where she's dressed like, there's a Tinkerbell. There's a type of cosplay to it. There's one where she's with Jessamine Duke, who was in the WWE and who also fought for Invicta. The girl's got the style, she's got the smile, and she's ready to profile, woo, Ric Flair style, on all the girls. So, I mean, if you could have someone of that magnitude coming to LFC, it's a win-win once more, to reiterate that point.
Oh, yeah. And I can't wait to see what's next for them. I can't wait to see if you guys are coming to Toronto. I'm still waiting.
Yep. Hint, Sean. Hint.
I'm still waiting patiently, very patiently. But I'm excited for it. I can feel it. I can taste it. I want it.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. Canada, first and foremost, when you're talking about some of the fight capitals, there is MMA there, there's professional wrestling there. Get you some LFC in Canada, man. Let me just say right now, and I love Bret Hart and the Hart family. The Hart family dungeon, LFC. It's like hand in hand again. The reason why, I know that's a weird analogy, but you got the discipline and you got the sexiness. Hashtag discipline and sexiness. DAS, D-A-S, if you will. Start a new hashtag.
I'm using that for my photos tomorrow.
Discipline. Photos, fam. I got to say this, folks, because I got the Instagram up and we'll promote it at the end of the show. But, man, you're doing the music video side of things, and I got to say this right now. Hot Lips, Black Locust. I'm going to say, from the days of you just looking at Ed the Sock making fun of Ricky J's No Means No and watching some of the comedy that is Ed the Sock, got to get the Ed the Sock reference for you, because y'all know what's up. So I got to ask you, how does it feel, the music video side of things, man?
It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of acting, whether it's music videos, commercials. It's a lot of get there, sit down, and wait. And from being casted, I thought I was just going to be like background. I'm just going to kind of mellow out. Everybody has to dress in black and have a black mask, and it's like a masquerade. But when I got there and I saw Christine, who played the main character, the main protagonist, with split eyes, let's call them, for the contacts, I just kind of sat there going, okay, this is very different than a masquerade, as they described. And each individual who's not part of the group was actually featured part of the video. So each of us got to do something. With me, I just got to give the girl a cold stare, but I'll take it. And I got to see Hot Lips perform, and there's 3 band members. It's Alex, it's Carly, and it's Keith. And they're absolutely 3 of the most incredibly talented individuals. One is a doctor, and I just love talking to them. And they really introduced to a new genre of music that I'm not used to. And just for them to say, okay, you're casted, you're going to be here at this date, this time. We worked together for 8 hours. That's how long the shoot was. And I'm hungry for more. I'm ready to do another music video like that, hopefully soon. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see.
Just going back to that for a second, to add a little comedic relief here. If Ricky Jay wanted to come back and he wanted to do like the 20-something year anniversary of the No Means No music video, or just put out another jam for you Canadians, how would you be on the upfront to go say, hey, Ricky Jay, but I really want to hit it, girl, No Means No, with your Ed the Sock and all that, man? I know you probably want to get up with that Ricky Jay vibes. Were you a Ricky Jay fan? Because that song is catchy as hell. It was one hit, people, but if you've not heard of Ricky Jay, No Means No, it's hilarious. Go ahead, Steph.
I mean, I loved Ricky Jay, but I'm going to be honest that the Sock is my guilty pleasure. So, I mean, to to kind of put it out there because of how much I love Ed the Sock, I could actually picture Ricky Jay like looking for a kiss for me and Ed the Sock like swooping in and me kissing Ed the Sock. That's what I would do. That's my concept. So Ricky Jay, call me if you need that. And Ed the Sock.
I'm not shocked at that at all because first and foremost, and here's the thing, it's not just Canada because again, as a youngster, much music was 56 and then it became Fuse, right? Ed the Sock is hilarious. And here's the thing to this new generation. Ed the Sock, look it up. He's still killing it. His social media posts are absolutely hilarious. But just him going at S Club 7 also was hilarious one. Watch him make fun of S Club Party. And he just goes at everybody, and it's awesome, okay? And I love S Club 7, but his review of S Club Party was hilarious. I'll send it to you when we're done with the show.
I couldn't help it. I actually had to do the dance just because it's gold.
Yes.
But I mean, like, Ed the Sock followed me a couple months back. He actually had a Twitter beef with one of my favorite Canadian actors.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where he was saying to this actor, "Oh, what happens to your socks? Are you sure they even make it to the washing machine, let alone the dryer?"
Boy.
And I remember sitting there just kind of going, "Oh my gosh, these two." And I told him, I'm like, I want you guys to beef more. Like, I want the beef. He's like, you're not vegetarian? No. But even if I was, I would still want beef.
Oh, my goodness. You know what's great about it, too, is, and here's a fond memory. So I remember the Top 20 Countdown. I think he was hosting it around that time, too, for like a little bit as guest spots. And I remember, do you remember... Okay, obviously we all know Snow for Informer. You also know when I'm gonna play it. Lick your boom boom now. Okay, so 2000, he had that song. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go and I'm best I didn't know that everybody wants to be like
you.
And it's a great song, but he's like, and your mama and I met your papa, and I'm like, I don't know what that has to do with it. It's like he has like a nice little thing, and then I'm gonna say I'm gonna go and this shit didn't know, but you white reggae Canadian. That was another one that I remember roasted. Everybody wants to be by Snow. Great song, but it's just like, it was funny.
I mean, that was back in the day, but Ed the Sock, he wasn't wrong. So
he wasn't. It's like he was on video on trial. He was hilarious.
Oh yeah. He used to get a lot of backlash for a lot of his views. But half the time I would sit there and go, he's not wrong. I think people get upset that he's right. And he's saying what so many people don't have the courage to say.
You know what it is? There's a thing about being brutally honest, where you're either going to be loved for it or respected for it. But at the end of the day, that's just you being your true self. You're being brutally honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you got to be honest because there's a lot of stuff in this world, and not all of it, I'm just saying some of it, where a lot of people can't handle the truth or they just can't handle criticism. And it's like sometimes you got to kick that dirt off your shoulder, to quote Jay-Z, and just, learn from it. You learn from your mistakes, but everybody is just like, all right, you know what it is too? And I'm going to say it because it's a hot topic. It's a conspiracy. It's all that mind control, to quote Jesse Ventura. It's all these conspiracies, man. They're out to get you.
I mean, I like to quote Jay-Z and say, I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. But I feel like everybody has like 99 problems, and it's like, you're part of one, and you just kind of sit there and go, okay, sure. I'll be defeated, sure.
What they can do is like the classic B44 song. They can go. Nah, 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 nah.
Oh my gosh, B44, oh my.
Well, no, here's the thing about that video. And I was 8 when that came out, and then as an adult, you start to realize, like, what the actual fuck is this video? Because his brother is fucking in the mirror, and all of a sudden he goes, change, rotate, we're ready to roll. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? He's literally choking out his brother in front of the mirror. Like, I don't know what's right now. As a kid, you're just like, okay, you're dancing. He's got the purple hair. He's wearing the fucking puka shells and the beads. And it's like, right? It's Friday night. Whatever.
Everybody had the shells. Everybody had that necklace.
I did not. I was not one of them, but okay. I know. I get it's a trend. It was 2000, okay? It's the early 2000s. That was a great dance sequence, though. That go-go.
Oh, my God. That was 21 years ago.
Right? Oh my God. It's the same thing with Soul Decision. I brought up, ooh, it's kind of crazy to you, and you're like, oh, it is kind of crazy. Because it is.
Oh, God. I'm feeling so faded.
like your style, but you feel all right. Think about making your move tonight. That's
I
another.
mean, it is a Friday night.
I will say this. That's another thing about that video that's really weird. They have like a shot of like this elderly woman in her apartment where they're like going up the rungs and you see, Trevor Guthrie and all of them having the party. I was always like, why are we showcasing this elderly woman in her apartment? I don't get it, but all right. It's kind of like that little Nicky effect, when he's like, you got the wrong room, man.
Oh, the party's that way or that way.
Exactly. Oh my God. Anyway, that also, you notice it when you see the Ooh It's Kind of Crazy video, like Trevor's playing the Game Boy, and I'm like, he's got the fucking Nintendo, man. Like,
I mean, that was our thing back then.
It was.
I mean, that Game Boy went everywhere with me, especially the classroom. Got in trouble for it, more than I should say.
We've all done it. I'll be honest, we've all done it. I mean, it gives you great disguises in that video. They dress as janitors, and then friggin' Ken is on the friggin' bench, and they put it into the car. Oh, like I said, that's the times, man. It's just these women screaming for some soul decision.
Oh my God, that should be me in a couple of months, hopefully, losing my mind at the concert. So.
Hey, I mean, New York City had it. They were showing it on TV. There was Santana and Rob Thomas performing Smooth, and I friggin' lost it because I love that song so much. Just like the ocean under the moon, don't just forget about it, like Rob Thomas. And that's the thing. And him and Wyclef were singing Maria, Maria. You remind me of a West Side Story. And then all of a sudden he's friggin' jamming a bow and a beat, a Mama Cella, Mama Cella. I don't know what that means, but hey, Mama Cella, Mama Cella, It's a little...
I mean, the funny thing is about Maria, I must have heard that song about 3 times last week. Because
really?
I'm actually playing a character named Maria. I can't tell you what the project is too much, but every time they called me to do my scenes, they would actually sing Maria, Maria. And I just kind of walk in, just kind of going, okay. I love the song, but it's not my theme.
Hey, how could you not have a theme where you remind you of a West Side Story, growing up in Spanish Harlem? She lived in the life just like a
movie star. I mean, and then they sampled it with, I believe, Rihanna.
Yes.
From Wild Thought. And every time it starts, I'm like, oh, is it? No, but that's okay. I'll listen to it anyway, and I'll dance to it.
It's like when Ariana Grande friggin' sampled Big Pun and Joe with I Don't Want to Be a Player No More, I'm Not a Player, I Just Fuck a Lot for her song The Way with friggin' Mac Miller. And I'm like, all right, cool, and I love me some Ariana Grande, but Big Pun, God rest his soul, and Joe, they hit it up, man. Boricua, Borea, man. That's what I'm saying.
I still can't believe Mac Miller passed either. I'm still surprised. But I mean, I've been listening to a lot of music because music heals all. It's the be-all, see-all. And, whether I'm watching clips of Lingerie Fighting Championship, I'm always listening to the music to see what kind of emotion it provokes. So.
Now, okay. So I'm going to say this. I got to go back to this because you're bringing it up, and I love this. So we talked about the music, and we encompassed that. Here's the thing, man. You're a lover, not a fighter, but there's a lot of people, man. Every time we see on social media anything that's involved with LFC, a lot of people want to see you get in there and put your dukes up, man. I know we've touched upon this, but it's flattering. You get a lot of praise, and people want to see you go in there and mollywop.
I've got a couple of followers, especially on Twitter. And I think one is Knockout Headquarters, so shout out to him.
Shout out.
And like they're always asking, when are you gonna get in the rink? And I always laugh because it's like maybe one day, and I feel like it's coming soon. But if I feel like I'm gonna give them what they want, I feel like I'm just giving in. So I kind of got to resist just a little bit.
Well, here's the thing. We got Angelica Ko, the knockout, the Italian knockout coming out from Italy, man. So how can you not, man? We got a beautiful woman like that. Yeah, I mean, you got your thing. You're a knockout in your own right, Miss Ferreira, so you can knock some heads, huh? Snapping.
I rather turn some heads than knock some heads. Like, in all honesty, like, I can see myself prepping, training, and putting in the work. But I have a feeling like my first competition would be like Miss Tay Emery or Jolene Hex, and I'd be like, I give up. Just like running away. Or I'd just be like, punch me just for like the hell of it. Let me be happy because I could say I got knocked out by an LFC champion. Just sure.
Yeah, so like with Jolene, and what's great about Jolene's fights is she likes to tease at the. I mean, you want her to do what she did to Shelby the Panther Parrish. You want her to punch you in your breast because that's what she did. She punched you in the breast. And LFC 31. You want to have the little tease like, hey, I'm gonna punch you in the breast. I'm gonna play around with you, and then I'll end you. You know what I'm saying? It's the Hadouken. It's Mortal Kombat. That's what it is.
We did a shoot once where one of the models was joking around, and as she was going like that, she actually punched me as she did so. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I could see the fear in her eyes. And I just kind of like, I gave it a minute and I was like, that hurt.
Yeah, like delayed reaction there, Steph.
It was.
Oh my God.
I felt like turning into Batman and being like, oh. Just having like a deep one.
I mean, it's a music video, man. If you're given the cold stare like you are in the music video, I think you could be, you got the death stare. You can give him the old evil eye, huh? I think it worked.
The death stare is so not the same thing. Because, I mean, they say if looks could kill.
Yeah.
But, I mean, half the time I feel like I'm a deer in headlights. Like,
What Steph is saying is you're like the Home Improvement theme. You're like, ooh, that's what you are. That little, ooh, that's you. You're like the Home Improvement theme.
No, I'm the neighbor. Howdy ho, Tim. Just watching.
Yeah.
Just gonna watch from the other side of the fence. Make sure I don't get hit with anything.
Oh my God. Yes.
My luck, I'd probably still get smoked standing in the stands or something.
Probably. The best, man. Just freaking get belted with something just out of nowhere. Freaking go to a hockey game, you get the puck right at you, boom.
Actually, there was
What happened?
there was a time that I was sitting next to a guy. He actually caught the puck. It was right in front of me, and I just went, oh. I could feel it coming, but luckily he stopped it.
So you channeled your inner weekend. You felt it coming. I feel it coming.
Oh, I felt it coming, and I thought this was gonna hurt. And everything slowed down to a slow motion.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, Steph, I will say this, man. Guys, I will say this. I'll put the social media links in the description, but we got to touch upon something else here because there's a lot of beautiful photos encompassed with a lot of beautiful models. I'm going to say this right now. We got to talk about Kitty, man, because Kitty Cat is, oh my goodness, she's got the tat. She's a beautiful woman, and she is very vibrant and engaging. I got to ask you about these shoots because there's a lot of shoots where you two really work off of each other, and a lot of you do. So I got to ask about these shoots.
So with her name is Natasha. She's a really great girl. She actually lives out in Woodstock, and she's known as an alternative model because she's got a lot of tattoos, a lot of piercings. She's very beautiful inside and out. And a lot of the times when we first met, it was like, oh, you guys match, so you guys are going to shoot together. Well, okay. And one of our first things was we had to put our hands on each other's butt to look like we were the sneaky librarians in the back. And we've been published together, which is incredible. And she'll come up with an idea, we'll shoot, and it turns out fantastic. I'll come up with an idea, shoot, and it comes out fantastic. So when you have the opportunity to work with someone who has different ideas than you do, and you work well together, you give it every opportunity you can because there's always room to work together and improve and have new insights and new concepts and ideas. So whenever we have an idea to shoot together, either she's inspired by something or I'm inspired by something. So the one where I'm actually holding on to her with the fake knife, that was supposed to be an ode about models constantly fighting. But then I used it to translate the American Psycho. But, she complements it well. And it's like, she's my beautiful 28-year-old fiance and I'm the serial killer kind of thing. But then there's also shoots where, she's biting me to my death as the vampire.
Hey.
And there's the one where we're just two besties eating a hamburger because that's what she wanted to shoot and we enjoy the hamburger together kind of thing. So when you have a great friendship and you're open to the tough discussions and you're open to the great ideas, then it complements each other.
Oh, it absolutely does. And I'm going to put her link in the description so everybody can check out her page because she does a lot of beautiful work as well.
Yes, definitely.
I got to say, first and foremost, as I'm looking at this, because like I said, I did notes and I want to encompass these images with the show. Man, one of my favorite favorite new hashtags, I'll put it up there, or just in general. MILF Club, man. American Pie came right into my head. I'm just saying right now, MILF. I feel like John Chow in American Wedding. This guy's the fucking master. Like, it's one of those things. I saw MILF Club. It's like, hey, the guy brain, it's MILF Club. I'm like, MILF.
I mean, her MILF Club is better than the pipes suggestion that I had, the hashtag pipes. And I sat there and I'm like, yeah, MILF Club is a lot better than pipes. Because then people will get the wrong idea and think I'm like potentially just the smoker.
Hey, I'm going to say this right now. My inner perversion's coming out. This is my inner 14 or 15-year-old self, puberty people. So there was actually a site. Once I saw MILF Club, I thought of a different MILF because there was a site called MILF City, I believe back in the day, MILF Seeker. Everything with MILF in it. There was you'll see it, MILF Club, MILF City, MILF Seeker. It just brought me back to my teenage years for a second. I'm like, yeah, all right.
And in all honesty, when she put that post up, I just knew that she tagged me. So when I went to click on it and I read it, I just sat there going, oh no. Like it's almost like the TikTok reel where all you hear is, oh no.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Oh, I mean, Steph, if you want to classify yourself in the MILF Cougar category, I mean, if you own it, man, if you got to flaunt it, yeah, huh?
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I am writing a column right now, and I'm trying to find the right words for it because I remember when it was like I was the young lady and, I had the suitors, but all of a sudden I'm in this MILF Cougar mindset. And I kind of sit there and go, when did that happen? Because I feel like I closed my eyes, like I blinked, and all of a sudden I'm considered like a cougar, like almost like the mature model because you reach a certain age. Like we were saying about Natasha, her and I are part of Fat Punk Studio, and we're alternative models. I'm a plus size model, but then I'm also a mature model because I'm over 35. But I always tell people like I put the mature in immature. So it's just you kind of sit there and go, when did I become a cougar? When did I become a MILF? At what age?
First and foremost, if you got it, flaunt it, live up to it, own the title, ma'am. And number two, this is what you're going to get every time we do these shows, by the way, because you and I are on the same perverted, like immature mindsets and wavelengths. So this is what you get when you and I are on the same show together.
I mean, it's almost like saying, if I told you you had a great body, would you hold it against me? But a pumptis.
Okay, all right. I like Jesus. So it's one of those things too as well. I forgot where I was going with there. Another one to look for is MJ Dolly. I'll put her work in the description as well because you guys have done photos as well. I was going to ask about her now that we just went off and segued there to that land. So putting it back into full circle, MJ is another one that the links will be in there besides Kitty. So y'all also have some great chemistry. The three of you together, whatever it does, like I said, it's very titillating, if you will. No pun intended, but very titillating.
The funny thing is, I met MJ before I met Natasha, Miss Kitty Cat, and we would go to shoots and we'd end up dressing similar to each other. So like our first shoot, she was wearing a black bodysuit and blue shorts, and I was wearing the same thing. And the photographers are like, "You guys match, so we're gonna take photos of you guys first." Okay, and I'm one of those that if we're working together, we have to have fun. We have to have shits and giggles. We have to be comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, the pictures will show it. There has to be a level of comfort. And MJ, she's so fantastic. She's got a great sense of humor. Her and Natasha have fun teasing me with Chucky because I'm terrified of dolls. But every time we work together, we always have a good time. We're always laughing. We talk about relationships, sex, almost like what I did for Muscle Sports, but now I don't. But they're a lot like my younger sisters, and I like to look out for them. I like to make sure that they're safe when they're working with me, and it's been amazing with them because we're so similar yet we're so different. We're so individualized, and they remind me a lot of LFC, because I know Natasha would love to be part of LFC, and I'm not sure about MJ right now, but they're two women who are very unique. They're very special to me, and they're incredible. I love them both. So
I gotta say, first and foremost as well, both of them, like I mentioned, beautiful girls. Links will be in the description. But yo, here's the thing about the tats as well, because I wanted to compass this with the tattoo side of things. When it came to people like Kat Von D, and I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first saw Inked magazine, there's a thing, and also I'll be honest, when I was a young man, and still to this day, I love Lita. Lita, former WWE Women's Champion, WWE Hall of Famer. When she came out with like that dragon tattoo, that sleeve that she had, different look, because not a lot of girls had the tattoos and look like that. It stands out. But what's also cool about it is too, the tattoos, the imagery, the body is a temple, the body is the canvas. There's something about that that's just adds that little sex appeal, you know?
And I love that they have, like, they're covered in tattoos. They've got big hearts that you can hold a conversation with them, because sometimes you sit there and go, okay, I can't have a conversation with anybody. But these girls, these women, these incredible women, they're multifaceted, and I look at them and they teach me something new every single day that I have a conversation with them. I love that our relationships, we don't have to talk every day, but we understand that we're all busy and we're all doing different things, but the support is always there. And, you know, without them, especially MJ and Natasha, I would feel like I'd be lost without them, because they make me happy. They make me look forward to shoots when I might be having a day where I'm feeling a little self-conscious, or I'm feeling like I don't want to do it anymore, because everybody has that day. But they keep me going. So it's really hard to put into words, because they actually provoke so much emotion out of how much I love them. And if it wasn't for the opportunities we have, I don't think I'd be able to have them in my life the way I do now, if it wasn't for the opportunities that arise from an opportunity to work with them.
Man, and I look at it from a stance too. That's what you got to have with any job, any profession, any career. Just the camaraderie and the respect and the love. That really makes it worth having. And I look at it from a stance with you too, man. I didn't know you were afraid of Chucky. We got the Chucky series coming to USA in October. You know what I'm saying, man? We're bringing back Chucky. I didn't know you were afraid of dolls.
I mean, Chucky is coming to Netflix. I actually worked with somebody he was working on the set. Jennifer Tilly is rumored to be part of it. And I just never liked the doll. But with a little bit of music that I've been listening to, like I said, they've been inspired by horror. So when I see their music videos, they kind of soften it a little bit. They don't make me as afraid. But I've actually dressed up as Chucky myself. So we'll see how that goes.
Hey, it all fits, again, to use the phrase repetitively here, but it fits hand in hand. Man, you're doing cold stares in music video. Now we just need you to be rocking out. I'm going to say right now, Andrew WK is making a comeback, man. You can party hard like Andrew WK, huh?
I'll do it. You'll see me.
Okay, and here's what we've established for those that don't know. Steph loves to dance, and she loves to have a good time. I've seen your TikToks. I've seen your pink hair and your wigs and all this good stuff, ma'am. Just going out, going buck wild on the TikTok front, the Instagram front. You got the moves, huh?
I mean, it's been a while since I've actually danced where, like, I've full-blown gone into, like, stage mode. But, I mean, there will be a couple of comebacks hopefully coming soon, so we'll see how that goes. So I just gotta see when I'm doing that exactly.
Hey, man, it's one of those things. Well, no, that's great too, because if you have that vibrancy, and here's the thing, people, I love to dance too. Kids dance in public, you know what I'm saying? Just pull out the moves. You're gonna channel your inner O-Town, do some Liquid Dreams, the little thing with the arms where they come back and they're just swinging it back and forth. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? I just put the image in people's heads. So yeah, it's the O-Town style, man. It's the O-Town. Yeah, that. And then they're freaking doing the Running Man. She's my Liquid Dreams. I'm like, okay, you go, Ashley Parker Angel. You okay? No, it's. That was the videos we had back in the day, okay? They were Liquid Girls, they're dancing, it's the Liquid Dreams.
For me, it was all about Dan and Trevor and Eric. Woo!
Yeah, there you go. I remember the MTV Cribs that they had, and like one of them just had like Superman in their like entire room. I forgot which one it was. And Jacob was all about the guitars. Do you remember seeing their MTV Cribs episode?
I don't remember seeing that. I'm gonna have to look it up though.
I think it's on MTV as one of like the classics. It's MTV Cribs. They start off with Eric Estrada, then they go to like Trevor, and then there's Ashley Parker Angel, then there's Jacob with his guitars, and you know what I'm saying? And his is the most different out of everybody's. Like, you know, people like their sports and stuff, and he's just like, yeah, man, I got my guitars. My name is Jacob. I want to go, you know? So, So I'll have to find that, and it's out there. And I think they put out the same day when Aaron Carter they showed like a retro MTV Cribs of Aaron Carter.
Aaron Carter.
I know, and I'm just like, remember when he used to be somewhat normal?
When he was cute once upon a time.
This dude, and I bring this up a lot, but that dude, I can't look at him the same when he's like, I'm going to spread my butthole on OnlyFans. It's like Talladega Nights all over again. I spread my butt cheeks as Mike Honcho. I spread my butt cheeks on OnlyFans. Fucking Camp Soda. What the fuck,
my butt cheeks. I'm going to start crying in a minute.
All right. Do you know what this fucking video entails? I'm just going to say it.
I don't want it.
I'm just going to put this image in people's heads. I got to do it just because I'm watching you cry, and I want to see you cry with laughter. This man is literally on there playing I Want Candy naked. I read the description because somebody bought this, and I don't want to know who, but somebody fucking bought this. This man is strumming the guitar, singing I Want Candy naked. I can't look at that song the same anymore because it has Lizzie McGuire right here in the old noggin. Okay, this episode. And this man is singing I Want Candy naked, and it ends with ejaculation on a dirty mirror. You can't think this. All right, now that I killed you with laughter with there, we'll move on to the next topic. I'm watching you literally cry right now. And
Whoa.
I just put that mental image in your head, didn't I? The mental image of Aaron Carter and his skinny fucking tattoos. Yes. Hey, he got his butt kicked in celebrity boxing by Lamar Odom, out of all people. This man, it's out there. You want to see him get mollywopped by Lamar Odom? Or are you okay? You keep your composure over there, Steph?
I'm trying to. I'm struggling.
It's struggling. It's a struggle. Okay. So, Lamar Odom absolutely mollywopped Aaron Carter in celebrity boxing. Like, he quit, and Aaron Carter said no mas to Lamar Odom. Lamar Odom, who's as much of a train wreck as Aaron Carter is, mollywopped Aaron Carter in celebrity boxing. And that was the one time in my life I actually rooted for Lamar Odom. Not just so, if anybody wants to mollywop Aaron Carter, I love him. Like, Soulja Boy said, who the fuck is Aaron Carter? And I'm like, what the fuck is Aaron Carter doing calling out Soulja Boy? Oh, all right, enough Aaron Carter talk. So.
Oh, my sides hurt from laughing so much.
This is what we do with the LFC podcast. We entertain you, and we give you a lot of stuff we give you a lot of good. That's what life's about, people. Laughter is the spice of life. Sometimes you got to have a laughter for a good release. Yeah, but hey, I wasn't telling anything that wasn't new. Fucking Aaron Carter. All right, we'll move on from AC in the building. Aaron C's in the house. So, moving back to LFC, I think what's also great for the product is we're doing our thing on Halloween now. LFC 22 is where we had the costume brawl. Now, Halloween, we're coming back in Vegas, and I'll let the cat out of the bag. Yours truly will be ring announcing that night, and I cannot wait. So I got to find out what costume I'm going to wear. It's going to be maybe costume oriented like it was with the costume brawl. So LFC is coming back to Vegas on Halloween, All Hallows Eve. Are you looking forward to the show, Steph?
Yes, I am. I mean, you can always dress up as Shazam.
Or if not Shazam, I could dress up like Kazam and be the rapping genie, friggin' channel my inner Shaquille O'Neal. That was a thing back in the 90s, people. Shaquille O'Neal's career, and he was in a movie called Kazam where he played a rapping genie.
As long as it's not Aaron Carter.
Aaron Carter and his friggin' it's all right. I got the same reaction because Brooke Gilly, much love and shout out to Brooke the Guillotine Gilly, who's a big pop culture like me. We had a good laugh about Aaron Carter too. So she had the same exact reaction when I just displayed the OnlyFans stuff. She's like, "Is this seriously happening?" Yes. This is the world we live in, where Aaron Carter and Soulja Boy are going to look to have a celebrity boxing match now because this man wanted to call out Soulja Boy. And mind you, Soulja Boy had 2 hits, and I know he's won a lot of stuff, but I associate him with Soulja Boy Tell Him and Kiss Me Through the Phone, and this man is from the hood, and Aaron Carter's trying to act like he's hood. Stop it. Stop it. It's the world we live in. Anyway. So guys, check out LFC 31 Booty Camp in 3D. Booty Camp 3D for beauty in 3 dimensions, Stephanie. 3D. Now, there are some movies that have not been good in 3D. Jaws and Spy Kids, just to name 2. So it's one of those things where we got the 3D effects, and it's going to make for an amazing night of LFC action, especially with the 3D. I'm putting it up, 3D.
I'll be watching.
Everybody gets 3D glasses. Get your great action of LFC on Hallows Eve. Now, I'm going to say this right now. T-Bella Madison and Bella Rockefeller, who won in LFC Madness, man, they're fighting. They're going to be doing the thing. It's great to see the newcomers and the prospects going to duke it out, man. I got to say, T-Bella's been training. Bella's been training. Rockefeller, money, Rockefeller, Jay-Z style records. So, yeah, it's a great time to be an LFC fan as I'm trying to get the image out of what we just talked about previously out of my head. So, guys, check out LFC friggin' 35 Halloween, All Hallows Eve. I know you'll be watching. And, Steph, I got to say this first and foremost, man. Besides the modeling side of things, I know you got a lot of great things coming. I've seen the Isabella magazine. You're in magazines. You're in music videos, man. The sky's the limit for you.
Yeah, I hit the ground running and I'm still going. I've got a lot of shoots lined up. A lot of Halloween stuff. So we'll see. Maybe I'll dress up like an LFC fighter. Who knows?
Hey, man, I think you could pull it off, man. Do your best tribute to Jolene, man. Get yourself some blonde hair and just get yourself like what she's worn in the past, man. There's a lot of variety to choose from an LFC fighter there, Steph.
Oh, yeah. I just hope I do her proud if I do.
I think you would. I think you're doing a lot of us proud with your stuff, man. Because again, you know what's cool about it? We all have that gift to inspire, encourage people through our words and actions. And trust me, you are. I think you're inspiring a lot of people, and then the rest is going to be history, and the best is yet to come.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Now, before we close this out, and we're not going to close it out on that image again, we're going to do some positivity here. Anytime, as always, you know the plan here. And I'm going to say this right now, and this is where I'm going to say to you, Mr. Tommy Bell, we'll do a pop culture show, the 3 of us together. That is not a problem. First of all, another one whose Instagram I'll put in there. Tommy Bell has been killing it, drawing all these LFC girls. Man is going to be drawing me for an upcoming thing with the girls. Dude, Tommy, keep doing your thing. Tommy Bell Art. Check him out on Instagram and his website. He's got to draw you next, man, because you got a lot to work with your photos. Tommy's got to hook you up, man. Tommy, draw her. Stephanie Ferreira. Put her in your images, man.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I think you do a great drawing, man. Get you with your setup on the beach and everything that you encompass, man. Friggin', all right, I'm going to say this right now, and I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it because it's funny. As soon as I saw again, we love the library looks. We love the education stuff, right? And it's fitting, because it's a beautiful image. I got to say, my mind went to something else. Because back in the day, like we were talking about No Seeker, there was a website called Naughty Bookworms. Enough said. Yeah. That's all I got to say. That's all I'm going to say. But it's true, and it's very apropos, and it's a lot of beautiful imagery. So, Stephanie Ferreira, we will definitely do another one of these. You know you're always welcome, man. You're always in my loop, and you're always going to be welcome on me. So I always appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Now, this is where I step back, man. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where people can follow you on all forms of social media because you're doing your thing. Miss Leafs girl, Miss Stephanie Ferreira. Yeah. Go ahead.
You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Leafs Girl Steph.
It's all self-explanatory. This is what I love with a lot of the girls because we always get to promote the social media, get that accessibility, and right at your fingertips, folks. But it's just simple. It's simplistic and simple from one from Stephanie Ferreira. Leafs girl Steph. Boom. I'm Steph. I'm a Leafs girl. Toronto baby. Boom. So yes, all the links will be in the description. Steph, do you have any final words to the people, man, and to the LFC universe, man? Because they've been supporting you. They know about you, man. They've seen you on Facebook. When these podcasts come out, man, they know. They know about you.
I'm going to say stay tuned. There should be a couple surprises coming up for LFC. So let's keep it going.
Beautiful said. Keep it going. No spoilers, people. We're going to be on the edge of our seats for some more LFC action and some more beautiful imagery from Miss Stephanie Ferreira. So for Stephanie Ferreira, my name is Mike Larkin. As I always say, much like the title of this show, beauty, strength, and dominance, 3 key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss Stephanie Ferreira, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.